48 years ago. Luckily someone recorded it. And first we'll start with reflections that I've seen that many devotees listened very attentively. So let's start with the beginning and remember what you've heard from the class. We have microphone. Who remembers where it all started? And this is one of the most important verses in Srimad Bhagavatam, because the very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadhyasya Vayat Itaratas Chaktishva Vijasna Surat, is glorifying the Supreme Lord. So it's called Mangala Charana, auspicious beginning. But then this verse, which Srila Prabhupada discussed, actually starts Srimad Bhagavatam. So maybe we can reflect on the translation, because maybe the sound was not so clear. So Dharma projita koitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam Vedyavastavam atravastu shivadam tapa atrayo unmulanat Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni krite kimva parayishvara Sadyo vriti avarantyate tra kritipir shushushupis tatkshanat. Let's see, we have brahmacharis here who are studying Bhagavatam, learning the verses, and brahmacharis hopefully also. So, anyone knows this verse, translation of this verse? Anyone can help us with that reflection? Okay. Dharma projitikoitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. What does that mean?
Completely rejecting all religious principles which are materially motivated.
Very good, thank you. And Dedyavastavam atravastu Shivada tapa trayo unmulanat. Anyone else?
Uprooting all inabilities in material life.
Yeah, that Dedyavastavam atravastu, that it is the very essence, the Srimad Bhagavatam is the very essence, Vasturin's essence, of all the Vedic scriptures. And what is the effect of Bhagavatam? Tapa Traya Unmulanat. It uproots Tapa Traya. What is Tapa Traya? Threefold miseries, yeah. Finishes all the threefold miseries. No miseries anymore. If you understand Bhagavatam, you'll be happy in Krishna consciousness.
It's understood by those who are free of envy.
Yeah.
Those who are pure in heart.
That's right, yes. That yeah, Paramonya Vatsaranam Satam, yes, thank you. We missed that bit, yes, that it can be understood by only those devotees who are completely free from envy. Thank you, yes. Dharma Praditikoitavatra Paramonya Vatsaranam Satam Vedyavastavam atravastu Shivadatra Tapatrayo Unmulanat Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni krite kimva parayishvara. So
this Bhagavatam was compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva.
Yes, very good. Mahamuni Vyasadeva. Srimad Bhagavatam Mahamuni krite kimva parayishvara. And what is the need of any other scriptures? Why? Because Srimad Bhagavatam, what is glorifying? Yeah, Parayishvara, Para-Ishvara, the Supreme Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam is not just glorifying, but completely explaining everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. Kritekim Parayishvara. Sadyo Vrigi Avarundetetra Kritipir Shushushubhis Kshanat. What does that mean?
Therapeutically? Sadyo means therapeutically. Therapy.
Therapy. Okay.
therapeutically clear.
Yes.
So one attentively hears this message of Bhagavatam by cultural knowledge, the Supreme Lord is revealed in his heart.
Yes, one becomes attached to the Supreme Lord. Thank you. By hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, one develops attachment or actually love for the Supreme Lord. So, if you have love of God, what else do you need? You've got everything. If you have Krishna, you have everything. Nothing's missing. Alright, so thank you. We restored the translation bit by bit. And where's the microphone? Yeah, okay. So let's hear the reflections from the class. Anyone remembers specifically? Let's try to start from the beginning of the lecture, what Srila Prabhupada was explaining. Prabhu, if you can please pass the microphone.
So, as I remember, it started with that comparison that we have these little cities and so many laws even in these little material cities, and we think that the creator of the universe has no laws, no spiritual laws, no nothing.
Okay, yes. It came a little later. Yeah, funny enough, Prabhupada said London is a little city. Even little city requires laws. For us it's not little, right? But from the universal point of view, Prabhupada discussed, yeah, it's just a little city. He said actually it's just a little spot. And he said if you go on the airplane just 25 miles, London's finished, you won't see it anymore. Just a little spot on this tiny little planet, in the smallest universe. Thank you. But yeah, he started the discussion with the laws. That what is Dharma? What is the meaning of Dharma? Duty, but what specific meaning Srila Prabhupada gave in this class?
Religions.
Not just religion.
What's in the Vedas?
Huh?
What's prescribed in the Vedas?
Laws. Dharma means laws of God. Right? And then he explained that laws are different from formulas. What is the difference between laws and formulas? Anyone? He said formulas are needed, but laws are most important. So what's the difference between laws and formulas?
Is it mandatory?
Hmm?
Law is the mandatory.
Yeah,
If
laws.
we follow the laws, then we will be happy. We'll be in bliss.
Yeah, laws are given by God and formulas are made by man. Right? So laws are the basics. Okay. Anyone else can reflect on what you remembered from the class? Prabhu, can you please give the microphone?
मयि अध्यक्षेण प्रकृति सूयते सचराचरम हेतुनानेन कुंतेय.
Okay, what's the meaning?
The superintendent. We intend Krishna's superintendent. He is watching every sanction practice.
Okay, yes. That material nature under the guidance of the Supreme Lord is producing all moving and non-moving beings. And so everything is created and annihilated on a regular basis. So this is the law. Everything is controlled by the Lord by the media of this energy, of material energy. So anyone else can reflect on anything?
Srila Prabhupada was explaining that Srila Prabhupada was explaining about how Krishna is the superintendent of the universe and how he has 33 million demigods that take care of his different department managements. and how it's a huge affair. So it was nice because we use this quite a lot in book distribution. This question gets asked, who is God? And you know, so many gods are in Hinduism or whatever. You know? So, but I kind of usually use this explanation.
Okay, and what's the analogy? Anyone remembers what's the analogy Srila Prabhupada gave to help us understand that God is there? Why? How can I understand that God is there? No one remembers?
He gave me the example of the queen.
Yes, thank you. That we understand that Queen is there. How do we know that? Let me see the showman. Because Srila Prabhupada said not everyone sees the Queen. So anyone in here never seen the Queen personally, physically? Okay. So how do you know that Queen is a real person? What gives you such a conviction? Because you never seen the Queen in your life. Huh?
It's in the palace.
There is a palace. Okay. You've seen the palace. Okay.
I see it on
Anything
TV.
else?
I see it on TV.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, even I've seen it on TV, not in real.
Okay, yeah, TV for broadcast, okay. And anything else?
There's a statue in Madame Tussauds.
Okay, the statue of the Queen in Madame Tussauds, okay. Anything else? How many of you heard of the Queen? Okay, most of you. Some never heard of the Queen. So yes, we never seen the Queen, but we seen her image on the TV or
Yeah.
statue at Madame Tussauds. We've seen her palace, Buckingham Palace, and we heard about the Queen. So many people met the Queen. So what's the doubt that Queen is there? And so we have the palaces, so many palaces belonging to the Supreme Lord. Here is one, Soho, 10th Street, Soho.
Yes.
10th Soho Street. One of the palaces of the Supreme Lord. Here is the Lord. You can say, well, this is a statue. And what is the analogy Srila Prabhupada gave, that there is no difference between...
Law of the land. The law of the land.
Yeah, law of the land, yes, exactly. That there are laws, and so if there are laws, there must be someone to control it all. So yeah, that's the most important thing. Yeah, Krishna is there, so we can see. And Krishna's image or Krishna's statue is not different from Krishna, right? How do I understand it? Because nothing is different from Krishna. So, what is the stone or marble in that case, right? Marble deities or wooden deities like Jagannath. But what is the stone or wood? Factually, what is it? Elements and form and
So,
beginning with what? Energy, right? It's energy. Actually, the entire world is only consisting of energy. There is nothing else.
Correct.
That, if you take the electronic microscope, you'll see inside of the so-called matter, what will you see?
Energy.
Yeah, atoms, right? Atomic energy, huge. I mean,
There is a quote in the Bhagavad Gita which is my principle of life, and it says, all work is done by the energy and power of nature, brackets Krishna. But due to delusion of ignorance and ego and arrogance, people assume themselves to be the doer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prakriti Prema, I know that. What's that? Aham karo vimutatma kartam. Yeah, Prakriti Prema ni kunai kanmani sarsha. Aham karo vimutatma kartam iti madhyate. Yes. It's Krishna's energy, controlled by Krishna, because this energy is controlled, right? Paramatma is in every atom, and between the atoms as well, just in case. And, as someone said, not only it's energy of Krishna, not only it's controlled by Krishna, but it's the form of Krishna. And so, Brahman is energy, Krishna's control is Paramatma, and Krishna's form is Bhagavan. So, who is in front of us? It's Krishna in person. So, Krishna's statue, unlike statue of, material beings, is no different from him. So that's why we accept Sri Sri Radha Landaneshwar as the original Supreme Lord. And if we serve him nicely, especially for a long time, like Murli Manohar Prabhu, you'll have so many realizations that it is true. You can ask him. I'm sure he will share many proofs showing that this is not just a statue, it's the Supreme Lord, because he is reciprocating with the services of his devotees. Alright. Anything else anyone remembers? Yes, Mataji, if you could please pass the microphone.
Hare Krishna. I don't know if it was in the exact order, but the lecture was talking about practice. If we just practice, and then Prabhupada gave that infamous analogy of the green mango, and I just thought it's such a nice analogy, because sometimes I've thought, why this time, or why not that time, or why did Prabhupada come at this time, or these kinds of things. But when we consider that everything's infinite, what is time anyway? And, it's a question of Shreya and Priya, what's bitter in the beginning is sweet later, and the green mango epitomizes that so nicely. It's just, it's ready when it's ready. You just keep going and trust that the process works.
Yeah, spiritual practices, when they are not mature, are compared to green mango. But then Srila Prabhupada said in another class that green mango is also good. You can make chutney out of green mango. So, yeah, it doesn't really matter whether devotee is mature or immature. In the hands of an expert spiritual master, he can nicely engage everyone in Krishna's service. And even though we might not, be there yet, we might not yet develop full-on love of God, but still, due to the practices of Krishna consciousness, we already have so many benefits which are not at all available in the material world. How many of you would agree with that? So we're already happy now, right? With what we've got, and so the promise of the scripture that it will be even better ahead. So that's why it doesn't really matter whether we are advanced or not advanced. Krishna consciousness gives us the best in the beginning, in the middle, and what to speak of the end. Alright, anyone else? Prabhu, microphone please. Nama Sankirtan Prabhu.
So I came a little bit towards the end, but this one really struck me. Srila Prabhupada said, by practice of any kind of system of religion, if love of God is not developed, it's simply a waste of time. So it's a nice specification, not just depending on what is our practice of religion, but even within practice of saving Krishna consciousness.
Yes, very good. Yes, and it's very interesting that Srila Prabhupada said, we don't say that our religion is best. Interesting, he said we have no right to say that, right? Because it doesn't matter which tradition one's practicing. If one develops love of God, then he is successful. And yeah, it is true that actually any deviations from the religion, originally, everything that originally there been nobody besides Vaishnavas. So, who started all the deviant religions? Deviant Vaishnavas. So we can understand that even in the practice of Krishna consciousness we can easily deviate from the purpose, and that's why Srila Prabhupada was highlighting this point, that love of God, that's the most important thing. Instead of love for so many other things, as he said in the class. If someone develops love for everything but God, that's not Dharma. Thank you. Yeah. And the verse Prabhupada quoted in that regard is again from the beginning of the first canto, second chapter, Dharma Sanushtita Pumsam Vishvaksana Katasuya, not Padayet Yatiratim, Shama Eva Hi Kevalam. That any Dharma practiced by human beings, if it does not help one to develop interest, at least interest, right? Attachment, attraction for the Supreme Lord, it's just a waste of time. Shama Eva Kevalam. Useless labor, Bhagavatam says, useless labor. The labor which only produces the pain and no results. Very sad. Alright, thank you. Anyone else wanted to share? If you remember, still remember something from the class? Microphone.
Yeah, I just came at the end, but I think it was like the last paragraph. Prabhupada said, "If we love God, then we want to hear about God." So that was quite nice, because for me, like, I don't like to hear so much about Krishna, so it shows me I don't have so much attraction. But somebody that does love Krishna, they naturally want to hear about him.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yes, if you love Krishna, naturally you will be interested to hear and discuss about him and glorify him, etc. So it all depends on our attachment for the Supreme Lord. Anyone else? So yeah, the most important thing, actually Srila Prabhupada says that Dharma means following the laws of God, following Krishna's laws, and Krishna is all pervading. He is in every single religious tradition. It's the same Supreme Lord. We might say, yeah, but principles are different, right? No, same principles. They might not be followed strictly everywhere, but principles are the same. Like, what are the 4 pillars of Dharma? Anyone remembers?
Religiosity and...
Not religiosity, but Satya, truthfulness, Daya, mercy, Tapa, austerity, and Shuchi. And yeah, these are the 4 pillars of Dharma. And so, for example, we follow 4 Agata principles, right? And if you see, these are the exact prohibitions which destroy these 4 pillars of Dharma, right? But of course, it's not enough to avoid negative, we have to go for positive. We have to develop those basics of Dharma in a positive sense. And you can see that these are very, very common, actually unifying for any faith, right? Like any faith. It's very interesting that some faiths, they are considered to be non-theistic, And Prabhupada actually mentioned Buddhist Dharma. Actually, in Buddhism, they are very much attached to the principles of Dharma. But there is no God in Buddhism, except some forms of Buddhism, like Amitabha. And we discovered that there is Amitabha temple just nearby here. And these are very strange Buddhists because they are personalists. And they accept Buddha as the Supreme Lord and worship him. And they are even pure vegetarians. What to speak of meat, fish and eggs, they avoid even onion and garlic. And all the food they offer to the Supreme Lord on the altar before taking. And they chant the holy names of Lord Buddha. And their, principles are very similar. But this is the exception. Mostly Buddhism is defined as non-theistic religion. Very interesting, Kali Yuga phenomenon. You can have non-theistic religions like Buddhism, Jainism. Also there is no God in Jainism. But yet there is Dharma. And it's very interesting that by following Dharma, people automatically become purified and they'll come to understanding of God. And so, and Prabhupada says there is Mayavad, people trying to become God, or impersonalists, they can deny God altogether. But if they follow Dharma properly, and it's very interesting that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to take sannyas from Mayavadi in order to enter into the inner circles to preach to them, because Prabhupada explains Mayavadis are pious because they do follow Dharma and they follow Vedas, and so they become purified. And so if they are sincere, they can actually become devotees of Krishna. Yes?
Can a person not override Dharma though? Because, we said that a Vaishnava is beyond the Varnashram system. So, is it not more beneficial to just kind of override Dharma, for example, and just say, okay, I'm a Vaishnava and just pray to Krishna, and it works just as well?
Override what?
So instead of following your Dharma, can you not just essentially chant Hare Krishna?
Yeah, chanting of Hare Krishna is to help us develop our relationship with Krishna, to develop attachment to Krishna, and following Dharma is to help us to become detached from the material energy. So if we are developing our attachment to Krishna, but we do not follow Dharma, you'll be torn apart because you're still attached to material energy and you're attached to Krishna. So it's very dangerous. It is like sahaja practices. They don't really follow principles, but they try to develop their attachment to Krishna. It's very miserable position. So that's why Dharma is important. And in one sense, it doesn't make sense. Because if you say, I respect the queen, I love the queen is wonderful, but I don't follow any laws given by queen, what does it mean? How do you respect the queen if you don't care about what the queen has to say? So if we really love Krishna, then we should be following the laws given by Krishna, because it's for our benefit. Krishna is like a loving father, and he knows what's best for us, and he tells us. But we have to follow these things. But if we don't follow, then how do we love him? Alright, so thank you very much. We'll stop here. Mahāprabhu ki jai.